Bro, what's up?
I'm okay, I'm good. How far now?
Can
How
you
far?
hear
Can
me?
you hear me? I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, I can hear you very well, bro. It's been a while,
Uh,
man. How you doing?
it's been a long time. Great, great.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Wow, it's good to have you here, man.
Yeah, good to have you too
I
here.
I have actually longed for this moment, but then I really don't know why it wasn't forthcoming. Okay, but thank God we can do some we can do some things today. That thing which you know very well, and I
Yeah.
know you know it, so I'm pleased to have you here. Hello, guys.
Uh,
Thank you very much for hanging around. Welcome to ID Talk TV. In this video today, we're going to be streaming about the EPL matches that will be going down tomorrow, Saturday. So stay tuned as we walk you through the preview of some of the key matches and possible predictions of games that will eventually go down tomorrow, Saturday. With me in the studio today is a very good friend of mine, a brother, and someone I've actually known for a very long time. The both of us actually started this journey long time ago. Long time ago. I mean, we banter a lot at Facebook, and kudos, I give him his flower because he's a very good guy when it comes to talking of football. And one guy also I actually respect too much, so much as a brother. He has always been there, and it's good to have him today in my channel. So we're going to
thank
be
you.
doing this. We're going to be doing this together today. Usually, I just preview my video and I post, but today I decided to speak to my friend and brother that we are going to preview EPL matches today. Um, Prior to now, while the summer transfer window was actually on, I actually contacted him so we can actually do one or two about the transfer that was on, but so unfortunate we couldn't actually meet up on that. But before we take a look at the preview or the main thing that actually brought us here today, talking about the preview of the EPL matches that will be going down tomorrow, um, we're going to look at what has actually transpired between our clubs. I'm a Chelsea fan, you can always see that. And my beloved bro here, how will I describe him? He's a man with double ego. When it comes to England, he's a die-hearted Manchester United fan. And when you go to Spain, you dare not talk ill about FC Barcelona because he's always there at the defense. Madoka Godson, it's good to have you here, man. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes, let's start because without waste of time, let's start straight ahead. I will not go into the preview at once. I'm going to take you back a little, talking about the transfers that actually went down. We all follow the happenings when it has to do with the transfer window, and we saw lots of deals that actually took place, but we will not have that luxury of time to actually look into club by club, detailing how they actually do their business. But I'm pretty much sure that we'll have that little time to talk about Manchester United and possibly Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. So let's get started. If I may ask, were you satisfied with the transfer dealings of Manchester United?
Okay, so for the transfer dealings of Manchester United, I'm not really satisfied. I think for me, I'll give them maybe a 50% dealings in the transfer window. If you check the Manchester United team, you will find out that where we actually need more players, ball playing players will be in the midfield. That's talking about the six now. But
Yeah.
Manchester United did not even get anybody to fill in that gap. And that's why so far So far as the season has gone by, you find the coach bringing in maybe Bruno Fernandes instead of Bruno Fernandes to be up front there with the attackers trying to create things. He's actually far behind, and for me, that is not his position. I think he's been underutilized playing in that position. So for me, Manchester United did not really do so well in the transfer window. And then also, even if you check the wing back position, Ahmad, for instance, Ahmad is better up front, despite the fact that he has been selfish so far this season. But I think he's better up there instead of being far behind. And then if you look at Dogu, for instance, Dogu, like I made a post that I don't know who scouted Dogu for Manchester United because that guy has been below par. The guy, I don't really know the brain behind bringing that guy to Manchester United, to a club like Manchester United, because the guy so far has been below par. So I think Manchester United has not really done well in the transfer window.
Well, if you said Manchester United really didn't do well in the transfer window, but they actually make some huge amount of spending. You actually brought in Benjamin Sesko, reported around 85 million euros, and you also brought in Matthews Cunha from from I think Brentford,
No, Wolves.
from Wolverhampton Wanderers, thank you, for around 74.5 million euros. And you brought in Brian Mbuemo from Brentford for 75 million euros. And there was a goalkeeper you actually signed from, is it from Royal Antwerp, from Belgium Pro League, talking about
Yeah.
one Semelamen for around 21 million euros. And Manchester United actually makes some good spending in the transfer window, but you seems not to be satisfied with the spending they actually made.
Okay, I think that brings me to the goalkeeping position. That keeper, a club like Manchester United needs a keeper that is up, but both of us know that that keeper is a greyhound. Is a greyhound to be the number one person for Manchester United, and that's why so far we've been using the Turkish guy as the keeper since Onana left. So
Uh,
for
Talking
me,
about
we've not
Bible.
really done. And if you check the goalkeeping position, we had Donnarumma in our radar. We had Martinez in our radar, and at the
Yeah.
end, we did not find any of these two keepers. So if we had gotten one of them, at least we would have been sure that okay, our backline will be okay, will be well secured. They'll be able to marshal the backline very well. But with this new guy, who will he talk to? Is it Harry Maguire that he will be able to command? Is it Martinez that he will be able to command in that backline? So for me, we did not really do well in the transfer. I'll still say it. Yes, good signing, Matheus Cunha, Mbuemo, and then I believe Sesko too will come good. If he gets the right balls, he will come good. But talking about the goalkeeping position, the fullback position, and then the midfield position, I think we've not really done well.
Well, as fans, we are always expecting because we always wish to get more. But be that as it may, Ruben Amorim is actually the man in charge, and I want to believe he was pretty much satisfied with what he got in the transfer in the transfer window. But a lot of fans, just like you are saying now, a lot of fans were actually of the opinion that Manchester United needed a goalkeeper and a number six, which you rightly pointed out. But come to think of it, currently in the middle of the park for Manchester United, you have Ugarte, you have Casemiro, and you have Minamino. Does it mean these three cannot complement that position of number six, even with Bruno Fernandes? With Bruno Fernandes, haven't complained of being used wrongly by Ruben Amorim. Don't you think those players I actually mentioned, those midfielders, they are able and capable of playing that number six? That is why Manchester United didn't actually go for any number six player.
Okay, so talking about that, Manchester United actually went for a number six in Baliba, but they could not really reach a deal with Brighton. But if
Yeah.
you look at Casemiro, I think age age is not on his side. It was actually
Okay.
good with Real Madrid because of the caliber of players he played with. Talking about Cruz, Modric, those guys are guys that can actually hold on to this ball. Watch Casemiro very well. You'll find out that on the ball, Casemiro is just how do I put it? He shivers on the ball. He's this type that, okay, when he wins the ball, he wants to quickly give it to another midfielder to go ahead with the play. But in Manchester United, who will Casemiro give this ball to? So that's why most times you see him losing these balls. And then age, like I said, age is not on his side. And then for Ugarte, Manuel Ugarte, I think if you check out the way PSG shipped him out without any struggle, you will know that the guy doesn't know football. No, that's the truth. That's the truth. You can laugh about it, but the guy doesn't know how to play football.
Man,
With
man,
PSG,
you're cracking me up, man.
no, but PSG did not even they did not even say, okay, no, we are dragging this guy. This guy should stay. They just said he can go, and he moved to
But
Manchester United.
you guys actually went for him.
Yes, we went for him. That's why I'll still talk about that's the scout now. Who
Yeah.
are those guys scouting these players? Even for we that are onlookers, we see that okay, these guys are not good enough. So why go for them? Why go for them? So Manuel Ugarte for me is not just it. And then as for Kobe Menu, talented, is good, but if you check it out, he's somehow slow on the ball. He's somehow slow on the ball. For me, I think that's a part he should work on. Work on. He can retain the ball very well, but in transition, he's actually slow on the ball. When you have your wingers making the runs, what do? You give them this ball immediately, but Menus is just too slow on the ball. So maybe that is why the manager has not really incorporated that guy into the team. But for me, Menu is even better than the Ugarte for me. So Ugarte for me should not even be a Manchester United player. And I think at the end of the season, I expect that guy to be shipped out.
Hmm. We hope to see how that will happen in the near future. But all you've said is just in the shoulder of Ruben Amorim to actually decide that. And um, talking about your center forward, Benjamin Sesko, that was actually brought in for a very huge amount of money. Do you see Benjamin Sesko getting it right in Manchester United?
Yeah, sure. I see him getting it right. I think he needs to speak out. I think I read something who is that? Okay, Rio Ferdinand. Rio Ferdinand stated about Van Nistelrooy during his
Yeah,
time at Manchester United that there was a time when these balls, some of then Cristiano Ronaldo will like do maybe crossovers and co while the striker has made his move. Before you know it, the striker is already in an offside position before he will release that ball. Ruud van Nistelrooy had to speak out, had to tell the manager that Cristiano Ronaldo is slowing his football, that he needs to release this ball quicker. And at the end, Ruud van Nistelrooy became, I think, one of the lethal strikers in Manchester United history. So for me, Benjamin Sesko needs to speak out. Okay, check out the match against Chelsea. There was this ball that Ahmad was supposed to release immediately. But
exactly.
instead,
I remember that. I
yes,
remember
Ahmad
that.
took it. So Sesko would have gotten an easy tapping there, but Ahmad instead hung on to that ball and took it to the byline. So for me, if they release these balls quicker, I think that guy will do well.
All right. In your opinion, you feel Benjamin Sesko need to actually speak out for him to be getting the ball. A lot after there is always a lot to be said about Manchester United because even the manager himself has have actually been on hot seat. But then we have so much to talk about. Let's just switch gears and head over to the North London, talking about Arsenal Football Club. Um, Arsenal Football Club, a couple of seasons now, they have actually been second best. If we look at it the way it has been in the league, they have been second best, coming second behind Manchester City winning the league, and last time it was actually Liverpool that are defending champion. And a lot of people, pundits, also have even argued that Arsenal actually were not having the squad depth. If they have the squad depth, they should be able to go for the title. And you and I have actually seen Arsenal in this transfer window and what they have done. They've actually brought in Victor Gyökeres, which a lot of them has been touting that they actually lack a striker. They actually don't believe in Kai Havertz being playing false nine for them. And also, Arsenal have brought in Zubimendi. They have also brought in Noni Madueke, who have actually been good on that right side. They also brought in Christian Nogard and also Masquera. Do you think Arsenal, with all the players they've actually brought in, haven't played second best for a couple of seasons? Do you see Arsenal going out for the title, or they're still going to be second best?
Okay, so I think Arsenal, for me, Arsenal should be able to win the title this time. Um, because if you look at the quality of players they've brought in, look at Matis Zubimendi. That guy is one of the best in his role. I watched him at Real Sociedad and I watched what he did. I also watched him playing for the Spanish national team. And then look at what he's doing so far with Arsenal. And then you see Ebericheze, you missed that guy. That
Yeah.
guy is a baller. That guy is a baller. I don't really know why Arteta has, maybe he's reluctant to play him in some games, in some big games. But that guy, if you watch his play with Crystal Palace while he was at Crystal Palace against top teams, he was a menace. And if Arteta can actually play that guy over Martin Odegaard, Arsenal will play football because he's this guy. He has vision. He can dribble. He can create space for other players. So Ebericheze is one guy that will lead them to that title if they will win it. And then their striker, Gyökeres, nice striker. Yes, they'll tell me, okay, he's not scoring against the top teams. But watch most strikers. They don't really need to score against top teams. When they meet the mid-table teams, they score as much as possible. When they win games. Why? Against the top teams, other players need to raise up their game and get the goals for them. And then, okay, they brought in Noni Madueke. Okay, Noni Madueke, for me, that guy is also a fantastic player. A player that he should just pick his point. Fantastic players should know when to dribble, when to release the ball.
When to bring it
That's
in, yeah.
what's good. So if he can really fine-tune his game to that, he should know when to make his runs, and then also he should add goals to his games. I think the goal aspect is what's lacking in his games. If it's on take-ons, if it's on dribbles, he's up there. But the goals is where he's lacking. So he should work on that. And then if you check that Arsenal backline, I think they have like 2 players for each position in that backline. In that backline, they have 2 players for each position. So I think Arsenal will do well. Even when this guy was their number 2, Saliba. When Saliba was out, they brought in Mosquera, and you saw what happened. They played well. He played really well. So I think Arsenal will do well this season.
When it comes to defending, I don't think Arsenal actually have any problem there. Just like you mentioned, they have Timber, they have Ben White. When you go to center, you have Saliba, you have Mosquera, you have Magalish. You also have which other player is there? Left back, you have Luis Kelly, you have Calafiori. Arsenal, when it comes to defending, in the Premier League so far for 3 seasons, Arsenal have had the best defense in the league so far. But talking about Ebericheze, like you rightly mentioned, I think that would be a decision for Mikel Arteta to actually decide, because Martin Odegaard is actually the team captain of Arsenal Football Club, and is definitely going to be difficult for Arteta to actually keep Odegaard on the bench. But in my opinion, what I would have suggested is Eberechi Eze to always start at the left attacking side. I think Martinelli and Trossard should always take the bench because while at Crystal Palace, that has always been his position. Okay, let's not dwell much on that as we still have a lot to talk about. We've not even started the match preview. Now let's head over to the home of the defending champion, talking about Liverpool. Man, the defending champion, do you see them missing out on the title? Because with what Liverpool have actually done, the squad that won them the title last season, we only have Trent Alexander-Arnold that left on a free to Real Madrid, and also Luis Diaz that left to join Bayern Munich. Every other player, and also this guy that went to Saudi Arabia, talking about Darwin Núñez. So these are the three players that left. And Darwin Núñez, you and I know, have not been a starter even from last season. But currently, the defending champion have actually made some couple of good signings, bringing in Alexander Isak for a whooping 145 million euros. That is a British record fee. And also they brought in Ugo Ekitike for around 95 million euros. They brought in Florent Wise for 125 million euros. They brought in a left back, talking about Melos Kekes. I think that was from Bournemouth, around 40 million euros. And they also brought in Jeremy Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen as well, around 46.9 million euros. With all of this, do you think Liverpool will miss out from defending their title?
Okay, so Liverpool, I think they have good players, and I think they've also started well. They've won all their games, but if you check their wins, it has always been maybe a last-minute goal. As in the dying embers of the game, you see them popping up with goals. And like I've always asked, can they keep up with that? The answer is no. It's football. Or someday they won't be able to get that late goal, and you see them dropping points. So I think their signings, if you talk about Hugo Ekitike, that guy has taken the Premier League just like a duck in water. That guy is good. I think I love his movement, and then his goal scoring ability is top notch.
Yeah, sure.
Guy is good. The guy is good. And then Alexander Isak, good player, fantastic player, but let's see if he fits in. If he fits in, that guy will score goals. And then for Florian Wirtz, fantastic player. That guy has talent. It's just time. As time goes on, if he fits in, then we all will be in trouble, because I watched that guy for Bayer Leverkusen. The guy is just too good. He's just too good with his feet on the ball. So as for Kerkez, that's the left back. The left back, somehow he's shaky, but he has also started well. But I expect him to come up good. But Liverpool, if they still leave it as a late show, then they'll lose out on some points in no time.
Well, if they still leave it as a late show, they are definitely going to miss out on some point, said my own very good friend. But then the Liverpool team I saw personally, I think, like you said, their first four games have actually been a late winner. Talking about their game against Fulham. Was it Fulham? They started against Bournemouth at Anfield. They left it late and went on to win 4-2. They went to Newcastle United. It was a late minute 1-0 victory. And also against Arsenal, it was a late 1-0 victory. Against Bournemouth, it was also a late winner. And I think convincingly, it has only been the Merseyside derby that they actually won in open play without stress and went on to defend that and win by 2-1. So let's see how this is going to be in as the season unfolds. But in my opinion, Liverpool, the title is theirs for them to lose. But then we'll see how that is definitely going to play out. Let's head over to Stamford Bridge. That is where I belong. Chelsea also made a couple of signings in this transfer window, and a lot of talking points have actually been Chelsea actually brought in good players, in my opinion. What I saw with Chelsea is players that are hungry to definitely play football. But Chelsea is lagging in two departments of the field, the goalkeeping department and the center back. But from the midfield going forward, Chelsea have had a couple of good players, talking about the combination of Moses Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. We have Andre Santos on the bench. We also brought in Dario Sugo and lots of them. There's this guy from Brighton that came on loan, talking about Facundo Benanote. We also have the Brazilian young chap, talking about Gustavo Willian that actually came in. We brought in Jimmy Gittins from Borussia Dortmund, and also Liam Delap from Ipswich Towns, and Joao Pedro from Brighton. All of these, I mean, they are bright chaff, very hungry and looking to go on. But the last three matches Chelsea have actually played against Brentford, against Bayern Munich, and against Manchester United, it seems that Chelsea defense line have always failed them. What do you think? What is your take on that?
Okay, so Chelsea's defense a bit shaky, and I think they'll still come good. They'll still come good. And then for your goalkeeping position, I think that chap there for me, it's just maybe one or two mistakes, but he has been good. When it comes to shot stopping, that guy has been good. Has been good. Look at the guy in the Club World Cup. He
Yeah,
did
sure.
excellently well. I think he was voted the best keeper in the
Yeah,
Club
sure.
World Cup.
Yeah,
So
it was.
if that guy wants to really play football, he will. He will. That's the way I see him. Sanchez is actually good. And then for your backline, I think you guys don't really have problem on the wings. That's talking about
Yeah,
Cucurella.
talking about the fullback, the
That guy,
fullback.
that guy, that guy should be the best left back. It should be the best left back. But
Uh, they're talking
on
about
the right,
Mark Cucurella.
yes, on the right wing, you guys have two brilliant chaps there. If James can stay out of injury, if he can stay away from injury, that guy is one of the best right backs you guys have. Then your central defense is where the issue is. Is where
Exactly.
the issue. So I think they need more communication there. Um, they just need to pay attention to details because of they are just lacking little details. But if you check them individually, I think they are actually good. But you talk about up front, you guys, your Jao Pedro, that guy, I think he has taken Chelsea Football Club by storm. He has been scoring goals.
For
He
fun.
played real well in the World Cup, and then in the Premier League too. He has tried. He has been scoring goals. And then I don't have much to say about Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer is just a guy. You think he's lanky, but that guy has football brain. His football sense is there. He's top notch. That guy
Mm.
is good. So that's why I'm not really surprised with his position on the Ballon d'Or list. He really
Yeah,
played
sure.
well. So the guy is good. And then I think Chelsea can't really keep depending on him. Yes, he has actually carried Chelsea in some games, but some other players need to step up. And I think that's why Jao Pedro is there. He's really doing well. And then Pedro Neto, yeah, Pedro Neto is also good. Also good up front. Maybe he's defensive. Anyway, he's a workaholic for that team. I think I've watched him very well. And then this your young Brazilian, Esteval,
Estava
brilliant
William.
player. Brilliant player. If that guy has more playing time, that guy will do well. He will do well. So give or take, I think Chelsea, they are really doing good. It's just maybe like I said in defense, they just need that a bit of communication between themselves, and they'll do well.
Okay, they need a bit of communication in the defense line, and they will definitely do well. Joseph Ezekiel talking about Veruski is with us. He said in his message, they are more. I can't even. Joseph was trying to make a point about what we are talking about. Um, okay, when I get the message clearly, I will read it. Veroski, I greet you, bro. So, um, that is just the top four we have actually talked about. But you know, the season have been hot because team like Tottenham have started the season blazing with Thomas Frank at the end of affair, which means there is a new sheriff in town for Tottenham Hotspur, and Daniel Levy has actually left his position. So Tottenham Hotspur so far has been good. Thomas Frank came in. He made the signing of Mohamed Kudus. He also brought in Xavi Simons, that was actually touted to be a Chelsea potential Chelsea player at the time, but ended up at Tottenham Hotspur. And a couple of players that Daniel Levy actually signed for Tottenham Hotspur as if he knew he was going to leave. And believe me, whoever wants to take it or leave it, Daniel Levy actually left on a high. Having spent over almost 25 years in the club, and at the end, the season is leaving was when Tottenham Hotspur actually won the Europa League trophy and end up qualifying for Champions League. I must say he's living on a high. And he kept some couple of good signing this season for Tottenham Hotspur before leaving. So on that, that's another team to actually watch out for. But we are not going to dwell on Tottenham Hotspur. We just wanted to talk about the big four, which we have actually talked about. Are we missing anything? We've talked about Manchester United, we've talked about Liverpool, we've talked about Arsenal, or we've talked
Maybe
about
Manchester.
Chelsea. Okay, Manchester City. Thanks for reminding me that yes, Manchester City actually missed out in the title last season. In fact, they didn't just miss out; they ended up also fighting for top four, and they end up finishing third in the EPL ranking of 2024-2025 season. And one begin to wonder. Let me ask this question because I've asked a couple of friends here that we have been talking football together. Did Pep Guardiola actually had a fallout with Kevin De Bruyne before the end of the season?
Uh, Not really, not really. I think the club, they were unwilling to renew his contract. His
Okay,
contract, and maybe they also looked at maybe the age
okay.
factor, and they feel that their midfield is getting aged per se, so they had to just let him go.
Probably that was the same thing that happened with their goalkeeper, talking about Anderson, that actually left to join Galatasaray.
This club, yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. Tomorrow it's the EPL game week 6, and we have the lunchtime kickoff. And in the lunchtime kickoff is Brentford versus Manchester United, as Manchester United will be traveling to the Brentford Community Stadium. It's going to be a very tough match, I must say, lunchtime. And the last time Manchester United defeated Brentford at the Brentford Community Stadium was in 2022, January precisely. And that game ended 3-1 in favor of Manchester United. The goals came in from Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, and also Anthony Elanga. And these three players mentioned turned out to be outcast in Manchester United, and they are no more. Currently, Marcus Rashford is with FC Barcelona. Mason Greenwood plays his football in League One with Marseille. And Anthony Elanga is currently at Newcastle United. Now, Manchester United will be going into this game from, should I call it a confident boost, which they had over the weekend against Chelsea Football Club, defeating Chelsea by 2-1 at Old Trafford. Do you see Manchester United getting a win at the Brentford Community Stadium after about 3 years counting now?
Okay, so for me, it will be a difficult game, but I see Manchester edging it. 2-1 is my prediction. With Matheus Cunha coming back from injury, I think that forward line should be okay. And I see a 2-1 victory for Manchester United.
You know, we have started because the prediction is going to be both ways. when you make your own prediction, I'm definitely going to make mine. You see a 2-1 victory. Wow. Um, it's been a very difficult ground for Manchester United for a couple of years now. And looking at how Brentford have actually started the season, not too spectacular because they've played five, won one, drew three. They have played five matches, right? They've won just one. And their win came against Aston Villa, which was 1-0 in their home front. And they drew against Chelsea. They lost to their last match. I think they lost to Fulham. Fulham came from behind to defeat them 3-1, and now they'll be heading back home to play their own football. I see a 1-1 draw. I don't see Manchester United picking all 3 points because why I said so. If Chelsea have not gotten that red card in that game at Old Trafford, I don't think Manchester United would have defeated Chelsea. That's my take. But I believe Manchester United have not actually come out of their shell. The same old problem will still be there. And one thing I actually see again saying that is Manchester United currently, even though they actually slept off against Manchester City, when it comes to big games, they tend to be alive. And when they meet a team whereby they ought to have taken the advantage and get all 3 points, that is where they slip off. But in this particular encounter, I see a 1-1 draw. Okay, that be the lunchtime kickoff. The 3 p.m. kickoff will actually see Chelsea takes on Brighton, Crystal Palace versus Liverpool, Leeds United versus AFC Bournemouth, and Manchester City versus Burnley. So those will be the 3 p.m. kickoff. So let's start. Chelsea welcome Brighton at Stamford Bridge. What is your take?
Okay, Chelsea, for me, Chelsea will edge it 2-1 in favor of Chelsea. One, the home advantage, and then Brighton away. Brighton is a bit shaky away, so Chelsea will edge it 2-1.
Well, as a Chelsea fan, I must actually say it's a must win. Anything short of win, then Chelsea will actually be diving into crisis because there's definitely going to be a lot of talking point. But why I'm very skeptical and a bit scared going into this game, when I watch my manager's press conference today, with all the rumor we have been hearing about, because I've actually made a video. I made a video yesterday to that effect, that it was reported that Cole Palmer will be out for 6 to 8 weeks. And the manager have actually confirmed that today, that Cole Palmer, he tried to paint it in a way that doesn't look serious, that Cole Palmer will be out and will be returning after the international break. So they want to monitor the situation. He has a groin problem. He actually feel pain. He doesn't feel the groin problem requires injury, but it's just after series of matches that such pain most times do actually come up. I tend to agree with him. But then Cole Palmer is out. Tosin Adarabioyo also is out in the defense line. That's where we have been having problem. And Tosin actually have not been in his best form because against Brentford, he was shaky. Against Bayern Munich, when shaky. When they brought him in, when he was brought on against Manchester United, he was still a bit shaky. So in our cup game during the midweek, the manager actually went for Trevor Chalobah and Wesley Fofana. So now that Tosin Adarabioyo is out injured, who will partner Trevor Chalobah at the centre back? Is it still going to be Wesley Fofana, who also have not been fit since returning from injury? And also Bernard Badiashile just came back from injury. I don't know. I don't actually know his fitness level, but my manager said in his press conference that Benoit Badiashile will be available for selection. So looking at the game, I must say it's a must win. Whether we have that defense line fully intact, I mean the way it should be, it's a must win to actually boost the players' confidence level and also calm things. Because anything short of a win, Chelsea will be thrown into kind of crisis. Let me just use that word. So, in my take, I think I go with you. I see a 2-1 win also because the defense line has been shaky, and if Brighton will be very good going forward, I think they will definitely have a goal. So I also see a 2-1 win. So let's head over to the Selhurst Park, where Crystal Palace will be hosting Liverpool. The two teams yet to lose a game in this particular campaign. Liverpool has actually played five, won all five, 100%. They kept that record going. Crystal Palace haven't played five. They've won two and drew three. They have 9 points, and currently they're actually sitting fifth on the EPL standing, while Liverpool Football Club definitely sits on top of the table. Going into this game is going to be a clash because Crystal Palace currently they are on a streak. 17 matches unbeaten for Crystal Palace so far. Will Liverpool end that at the Selhurst Park? One difficult ground, I must say.
No,
One
no.
difficult I'm coming, let me land. One difficult ground, I must say, whenever Liverpool go visiting. And it has not always been a match that lots of goals are being scored. In their last five meetings, I think it was in 2022, the highest Liverpool won was 2-1. It has been one. In fact, their last five meetings I've seen Liverpool 1-2, Crystal Palace 1-1, and they have drawn 2. And that draw has been 0-0 and 1-1. Liverpool win has been 1-0. I mean, scrappy win like that. So going into this game, both teams yet to win a game, yet to lose a game this season. Who do you favor going into this one?
Okay, so from my write up here, I wrote it as a score draw, 1-1. 1-1. If you check their past meetings, I think
Yeah.
during Steven Gerrard's time when they lost the league, I think Crystal Palace actually started it, where they even came from behind to beat Liverpool, I think 4-2 or thereabout. Still remember Ponchon scoring like 2 goals then. And then if you check their recent meetings, Crystal Palace, they've actually been a thorn in the flesh of Liverpool. Yes, they've lost Eze, but that's their manager. That their manager is a tactician. He's a
Yeah.
tactician. I think he knows play football irrespective of the personnel he has. So I give it to them. So for me, I'm seeing a 1-1 draw, a score draw there.
Wow. That's quite difficult to call anyway. It's a difficult one to call. But like you said, looking at the game, yes, the Crystal Palace manager, when Tottenham Hotspur were actually at the verge of signing Eberechi Eze before Arsenal hijacked the deal. The club actually put out a report that neither Eberechi Eze nor McGuire, that was also at the verge of joining Liverpool, are the club assets. That the assets the club is having currently is Oliver Gladner, talking about the manager. And indeed, the man has proven to be a very good asset for Crystal Palace. It was no fluke when he actually led Crystal Palace last season to win the FA Cup. And it wasn't a fluke when he led them to actually win the Community Shield against Liverpool. So Gladner has been doing a very good job for Crystal Palace. Now, going into this game, I mean, it's going to be a very tough one. It's going to be tough. And like you said, when we are actually looking at the transfer dealings of clubs, if Liverpool actually wants to retain the title which they won last season, then certain players need to up their game. Like you actually pointed out, let's see if Alexander Isak will definitely fit in, because I believe he have started one match, or he came in as a sub. I can't actually remember which match was that. He started the game. He actually started the game, and it was sub off. And also in their cup game against Southampton a couple of days ago, he actually started, and he has actually opened his Liverpool account in the cup game. So going into this game at Selhurst Park, it's going to be a very difficult one. I see a goalless draw, 0-0. It will end. That's my prediction, 0-0. So let's move on. The next 3 p.m. kickoff will definitely be Leeds United taking on Bournemouth, AFC Bournemouth, at the home of Leeds United. Okay, so last weekend, Bournemouth played a goalless draw with Newcastle United, and Leeds United traveled to the Millennium Stadium to defeat Wolverhampton Wanderers by 3 goals to 1, coming from behind to defeat them by 3 goals to 1. And I think playing at home tomorrow will be a kind of confident booster for the players of Leeds United. What would be your score prediction going into this game?
Okay, my score prediction is a 1-all draw. Bournemouth for me, there are no pushovers.
Wow.
Those guys are stubborn. They are
Wow.
stubborn, so I think a 1-1 draw should do it for them.
A 1-1 draw. Before I will say anything, we have a comment from Veron that is still with us. Veron says, Crystal Palace can be unpredictable. They have been I can barely see this writing.
Okay, let me read it.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so he said Crystal Palace can be unpredictable. They have been a hard nut to crack when it comes to their encounter with the so-called Premier League big clubs. So that was what he said.
That's quite I quite agree with him. But what would be your own prediction, Veruski? What would be your prediction if you had to predict that game too? Who will you favor? Will you give it to Crystal Palace or you'll be giving it to Liverpool Football Club? So you drop it in the comments. I think we're definitely going to see it. So you're giving Leeds United and AFC Bournemouth a 1-1 scoreline. Well, Bournemouth, they have one shining light, which everybody have actually been talking about. Veron said he will be giving it to Liverpool to win. Well, we'll see how that play out tomorrow. So, Bournemouth has had a very good shining light this season. Talking about their manager, he has been one man that has been most talked about so far this season with the kind of football they are playing. Talking about Andoni is it Iraola? He has been a very good manager for Bournemouth this season. After their opening encounter, which they lost to Liverpool 4 goals to 2, and of course they lost that game respectfully, haven't gone down 2-0. Haven't gone down 2-0 against Liverpool at Anfield. Semenyo, after that racist chant, was not even deterred, came back into the game and still got Bournemouth level up. But just like we said in the preview of the matches previously, talking about the transfer dealings, Liverpool have actually been leaving their games late. And when Florian Weiss was subbed off from that game and Federico Chiesa was actually brought in, Chiesa got in a volley and that saw Liverpool got it 3-2 before Mohamed Salah closed that game 4-2. And that has been the only game that Bournemouth has lost this season so far. Currently, they have played 5, lost 1, won 3, and drew 1. And the drew was the one they actually draw was their last match against Newcastle in front of their own fan. And in fact, Newcastle in that particular game actually have their goalkeeper to thank because it was end-to-end football and it ended goalless. So going into this one, I think I see Bournemouth actually getting the better of Leeds United. In my prediction, I go Bournemouth 2, Leeds United 0. So let's look at the last kickoff, the last 3 p.m. kickoff for tomorrow, rather, is Manchester City versus Burnley. This particular clash, a lot of people will say it should be a one-way traffic. But then, if we look at what happened at Anfield and what Pep Guardiola actually played, you know, the report that came out from that game was that after being in charge of 601 game in charge, that was Pep Guardiola's lowest ball possessed game in a match in his history as a managerial career. I mean, the lowest of his managerial career, 32.8 ball possession, and Pep Guardiola literally packed the balls against Arsenal side. And you know my pain in all of this because you always know, you know where I stand. If this were to be Jose Mourinho that played this kind of football, the pundit will still be talking about it today till tomorrow. They will not stop. But because it is Pep Guardiola, and even him himself, just like he said in his post-match conference, he said at least it's just one out of many. So it was, nobody actually talked about that. I mean, it's football. Sometimes when we want to criticize, let's always do it. Let's always do it. Let's be fair. Let's balance it. Not because it is Pep. The media kept quiet, and that has been one thing. Let me not drag this our conversation because I want to take it to it would have been another thing. That has been one thing when it comes to even the Ballon d'Or we have been talking about. Let me just say it. When it has to do with Messi, the media will blow up. If it is Cristiano Ronaldo, everybody will just be quiet. So looking at this game, Manchester City versus Burnley, well, I think it's definitely going to be a one-way traffic. I will go first this time around. I think Manchester City will not play that same negative football they played against Arsenal with Burnley, knowing fully well that these guys just newly got promoted to the Premier League. So I say a 3-1 victory for Manchester City, Pep Guardiola.
Okay, for me, I don't see Burnley getting a goal, so I say 4-0 victory for City.
4-0 victory. Well, let's see how that is going to be, because this Burnley, in as much as we'll definitely get to that, in as much as looking at the team that were promoted, Burnley have been one team that have shown strength and quality. That is talking about Burnley and Sunderland, because even the way Sunderland actually spend in the transfer market, you know that they are coming back to stay. They want to stay in the Premier League. If you remember what they played at Old Trafford, if not for that last gap penalty that Bruno Fernandes actually scored, it should have ended 2-2 at Old Trafford. But then, like you said, 4-0, and I predicted 3-1. It's Manchester City are still definitely going to win that particular encounter. And also, the 5:30 p.m. kickoff. So we'll see Nottingham Forest take on Sunderland. In this particular one, I think one man will definitely be in the spotlight, talking about Ange Postecoglou, the former Tottenham Hotspur manager who took over the helm of affairs at Nottingham Forest. So far, he has been in charge of 3 games for Nottingham Forest, and he made his debut against Arsenal, and Arsenal actually won that game by 3-0. And in the midweek, in a cup game, he traveled to Swansea City, and his team were up by 2-0. But they threw away that 2-goal lead, and Swansea end up defeating Ange Postecoglou side by 3-2 with a very good comeback in that particular one. So Ange Postecoglou is still looking for his first win as a Nottingham Forest manager. And reports have it that having lost 2 matches so far, haven't lost just one, I beg your pardon, haven't lost just one. That was against Arsenal, and he drew the last match against who did Nottingham Forest actually play? He drew against who did they play? I've forgotten. They drew that game 1-1 anyway. They drew that game 1-1. And reports have it that the number of matches he has played with Nottingham Forest, with where he actually left it with Tottenham Hotspur, he is yet to win in 9 Premier League matches. And going into this one, he's playing at home front against newly promoted Sunderland that have been up and doing. So far, Sunderland, though not actually been too good away from home, but they have played 5, won 2, lost 2, and actually drew 1. And in my opinion, my take on this, I would say Nottingham Forest should be able to get their first win in this one. I see a narrow 1-0 victory against against Sunderland rather.
Okay, mine, I see a 2-0 victory against Sunderland.
2-0 against Sunderland. Okay, that's a good one. We move on to the last kickoff of the day on Saturday, and that is Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers at the White Hart Lane. One team we talked about earlier that have been doing fantastically well, also under a new manager this season in person of Thomas Frank. Currently, Tottenham Hotspur sit third in the EPL table with 10 points. Having played 5, they have won 3 and drew 1. I think their draw actually came in their last encounter against Brighton and Wolves Albion at the American Express Stadium. So going into this one, they are taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers that is actually seated, or that is actually sitting on the 20th position in the Premier League. Without saying much, I think it's a one-way traffic for Tottenham Hotspur. What do you think?
A 3-1 win for Tottenham.
3-1 win. Do you even see?
Yeah.
Are you even seeing Wolverhampton? You are seeing Wolverhampton Wanderers to get a goal in that encounter. I don't see them scoring.
Check out their cup game. Check out their cup game. They defeated Everton in their
They
cup
defeated
game.
Everton. Well, that was in front of their own fan. They actually tried, and that is a confident booster for the team anyway going into this game. But then in the league, they have been very shambolic. Victor Pereira has not been getting it right. Talking about Wolverhampton manager. So, and he's still hopeful that he can turn things around. I don't know where he actually wants to start in doing that. But in my own, I think I see a 3-0 victory. Tottenham will defeat them by 3-0. So on Sunday, we have 2 matches on Sunday. The 2 p.m. kickoff will see Aston Villa takes on Fulham, and 4:30 p.m. we'll see Newcastle United welcome Arsenal at St. James's Park. So let's take the first one. Aston Villa versus Fulham at the Villa Park. One team also that is yet to get a victory in this particular campaign. They are yet to secure a win in this particular campaign. And their last game, they actually scored a goal for the first time this season after 4 matches. It was in game week 5 that Aston Villa actually got a goal, but then it wasn't enough to secure them a victory, as 10-man Sunderland came from behind to draw that game 1-1. And today they welcome Fulham at the Villa Park. What's your take?
From what I wrote down here, I gave Aston Villa the win, a 2-1 win.
A 2-1 win for Aston Villa.
Weekend.
Come again, you said?
They'll get their first win this weekend.
2-1 win in favor of Aston Villa?
Favor of Aston Villa, yes.
Okay. Veron said Manchester City will take the day. That's the game against Burnley. And he went on to say Wolves will want to fight.
To avoid defeat.
Wolves will want to fight to avoid defeat. Guy, no mind me. Like say, the Jean they come, I need glass. I get glass, but I know they like use them. I get glass. I know they like use them. I don't know why. But then let's move on. So, Fulham. What did Veron say about Fulham? He's actually saying something there.
Point.
Fulham will do what?
That they might get a point.
Oh, which means he's actually seeing a draw or a win for Fulham. Be specific, bro. Fulham. Be specific. Maduako sees Fulham get Aston Villa getting their first win in this encounter. Well, Aston Villa so far, I don't know, they have what it takes to actually get the season running. Because this Aston Villa we are talking about, last season by this time, we're actually seeing them fighting for the top 4. By this time last season, and they end up finishing the season, was it sixth position? They finished in 6th position. And Unai Emery has been doing excellently well. So far this season, I tried to follow Aston Villa transfer dealing, and as such, it seems they're actually being restrained due to finance. And I could remember vividly well when they were coming for Nicholas Jackson. There was a report that Aston Villa cannot sign a player that is above 60 million pounds, and that will actually affect them on FFP, talking about the financial fair play. So that was where I get to know that they have been restrained due to FFP. So they couldn't make much signing. And as such, there's one of their key players talking about, is it Anthony Gordon's, that Newcastle actually signed from them, took it away from them. So in as much as Unai Emery brought in the likes of Jadon Sancho on loan from Manchester United, who did he actually bring in again? I can't place my memory there again, but he actually brought in some. Huh?
Did they really sign much? I'm not sure they signed much.
That is why I just remember only Jadon Sancho going there on loan. I think one other
Mm.
player again also went there on loan. But then going into this game, the way Fulham play, the likes of Iwobi and Co, it will be a very tough match and very difficult one for Unai Emery, even though they are playing at home. I see a 1-1 draw in this particular encounter. Okay, the last game on Sunday, we'll see Newcastle United host Arsenal at St. James's Park. One match in history that has been very difficult for Arsenal to win. But so far this season, Arsenal have all the Arsenal going into this particular game, I must say. But Newcastle United, not too porous. They have not been bad, but they have been finding it difficult to definitely win games. Their last game, they actually drew goalless against Bournemouth away from home, and before then they actually drew goalless against Leeds United also. So they have not been winning games the way they ought to have been with the kind of spending they have actually made. I know they brought in Nick Waltermaid from Stuttgart at around 80 million euros. They also brought in this guy, Wissa from Brentford, also around 50 million pounds thereabout. But yet, they are yet to blend to actually begin to see results coming their way. So, in this particular encounter, I see a win for Arsenal because Arsenal currently are deadly with Bukayo Saka back into the fold. When I saw Bukayo Saka and Eberechi Eze, which in my opinion, I felt something was definitely going on in Mikel Arteta's head. You have those players and you drop them on the bench. So when I saw them came on against Manchester City, I knew Manchester City were in for a tough 45 minutes in the second half of that encounter. And it actually paid off. They were able to secure that point which they got from that encounter after Manchester City have taken that early lead through Erling Haaland. So going to St. James's Park, even though it has been a very difficult ground for Arsenal to play football, but I think going there this time with the kind of players Arsenal have actually brought in, the likes of Martin Zubimendi, which you talked about, which you mentioned, Eberechi Eze, Noni Madueke, and coupled with Bukayo Saka that have been there doing great things for Arsenal. I think I see a 2-0 victory for Arsenal.
Okay. The same thing I wrote down here. A 2-0 victory for Arsenal.
I think this is the only place we've actually agreed, or probably we've agreed in one or two places thereabout.
Yeah.
So, and also the last match in game week 6, it's a Monday night football where Everton will host West Ham United. It's David Moyes versus Graham Potter. So far this season, Everton have started the league pretty well.
Wow.
They actually brought in the likes of Kevin Dewsbury all from Chelsea. They brought in also Grealish from Manchester City. A couple of players that have actually blend for them. Ndiaye doing great thing. Gueye, we saw Gueye doing stuffs against Liverpool in that Merseyside derby. I think going into this one, West Ham United have been struggling. and currently they've played 5 matches. They've won just one, and they have lost 4 matches. So currently, West Ham actually is sitting, is it 18 on the EPL? Is it 18 or 17 on the EPL table? While Everton is seated around where's Everton seated on the table? Everton currently on the log table. Okay, Everton sit 10, while West Ham currently sit West Ham United. They sit 19 in the log standing. So going into this one, I think Everton will carry the day. It's a 2-0 win for Everton. 2-0.
Yeah, 2 win for Everton too.
Okay, that has been very interesting one here tonight. With all we have seen, we hope to see something great and get to watch great football tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday night football. And we hope to return and give you the match review in this particular game. But then, before I'll let you go, or before we end this live, what did you see in your crystal ball when you look into your crystal ball? Where do you think the title is heading?
For me, I think I see Arsenal winning the league. I don't see Liverpool retaining it. And then being a Manchester United fan, I won't even want Liverpool to retain it.
Now I get where you're coming from. Why you don't even want Liverpool to retain it? Personally, I don't want Arsenal to win it. Oh my God. It's football anyway, but then the team that have actually prepared uh the team that have actually prepared well and utilizes their chances game in, game out will definitely carry the day. Banter aside, Arsenal have actually got what it takes to lift the trophy. But I think the trophy is still going to remain with Liverpool. That's the angle which I'm actually looking at it.
For me, Liverpool. Okay, let me even say this. Last season, if you check the officiating in Liverpool's games,
Mm.
it has been they were being favored in some games. Yes, they are good, but they were being favored. And I think even this season, the favoritism has started again, but I still see them losing out at some point. And I see
That would
Arsenal
be
taking the game.
that would be another topic for another day, because the VAR in when it comes to the Premier League is it's one aspect of the game that is not consistent. So personally, in as much as I will be with friends and talk about the VAR inconsistency, I really don't like talking about the VAR when it comes to England football, because they are actually not consistent doing that. We have seen lots and lots of stuff they've actually gotten wrong. I wouldn't want to start mentioning the one that concerns Chelsea this season alone, even though some will say Chelsea have actually gained from that favor. But then their inconsistency, the earlier they begin to sit up and correct some of those things, because EPL is just the best league in the world, the most competitive, the most attractive to watch, the best selling league in the world. So, and as such, we have to be watching a league with minimal mistakes from the top officiating. And when it has to do with VAR, I mean, they have the video, they have the screen before them, and that is why the VAR was actually set up to actually see those things that the on-field referee is not seeing, and get to call the attention of the on-field referee. But in this case, what we are getting, man, sometimes you ask yourself, who is actually sitting behind the screen? I mean, it's a topic for another day that we are actually going to look onto. But then I will not let you go without talking about your team in the other end, talking about FC Barcelona. They actually played a game a couple of days ago, and they defeated they won by,
Yeah,
is it 2-1, 2-1 or 3-1?
yeah.
Yeah, and
1-3.
they
Ended one
won
three.
3-1. Yeah, and I know your rivals, talking about Real Madrid, they travel to Atletico Madrid tomorrow. I knew you will not want to wish Real Madrid well because you know that is where I also stand when it comes to Spain. And Real Madrid so far this season have been on a winning streak, 5 out of 5, going to Atletico Madrid home to play. I think that's the Metropolitan Stadium, if I remember that very well. And Atletico Madrid have not been fantastic. Diego Simeone have been struggling with his boys this season. So, in 1 or 2 minutes before we close, what do you see?
Okay, so the game against Atletico Madrid, that's between Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I think for now, Atletico Madrid, they are finding their shooting boots Alvarez, Alvarez,
Okay.
and I expect
Yeah.
him to actually do well in that game. And if you check the Real Madrid team, yes, they've been winning sometimes with penalties and goals. So, but I see that game being a tough one, and I see Atletico picking a win or a draw at least in that
Okay, we'll
game.
see how that is definitely going to play out. In my opinion, you know where I actually stand. Even though it's going to be a very tough game, there are games that Barcelona sometimes find difficult. Barcelona traveling to play Atletico Madrid is always a very tough one. But whenever Real Madrid is taking on Atletico, it always looks like a walk, a stroll in the park. But then it's football. Everything and anything is possible. But with Kylian Mbappe and Vini Jr. back into the team, I mean, I see nothing but a win for Real Madrid. Kylian Mbappe have this season, and believe me when I say it today, me and you, we are live today. I'm saying it today. The next Ballon d'Or winner, Kylian Mbappe. And I think that is what we are going to experience this season.
That will depend on trophies, and with Barcelona there, I don't see them winning one the La Liga or the Champions League.
Anyway, we'll
Their
see how
days,
that will play out.
their days of the Champions League reign is over. They won't see it for a while.
Okay, I think as we begin to wrap up, um, we've not actually talked about much. We didn't say much about the Spanish La Liga, but I believe it's a two-horse race between Real Madrid and FC Barcelona. And while Barcelona have Lamine Yamal doing great stuff, Real Madrid have Kylian Mbappe also doing great stuff. And we can't wait to experience the first El Clasico between those two. So we'll see how this will play out in the coming days. And for everyone that have actually passed by and stopped by to watch, and for your comments, I really appreciate you guys. You guys are the big deal. Thank you very much for watching. And for my guests in the studio, Madwa Kogotsin, I really appreciate you, man. I think we're going to
Thank
do
you
this
very much.
again. We're going to do the match review uh, after the old games have been played, probably on Wednesday.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Thank you very much, guy, and do have a wonderful night.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye, guy. Mhm.